Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Aries EDC. It was requested on the live that someone wanted to see how I do my Kydex sheaths. And I have done it before, but I'm at the point on the column that I've been working on that you guys have seen. I got that looking pretty good. There's some fixes I want to do with the handle just to make everything nice and even and smooth, but for the most part, it's looking pretty good. But I'm at the point where I want to do this sheath, and so I have my Kydex cut out to shape. I'm going to do the taco style sheath like I normally do, so I have it cut out where there's enough there to fold it over and sandwich the knife. I have covered the knife up with 2 layers of tape just to give that nice separation, and I want it tight, but I don't want the blade scratching when you put it in the Kydex. So this gives enough clearance when you press it that it's not going to scratch the blade up, which Kydex sometimes can do. So I have my Kydex. I'm going to use the same Kydex I used for the Damascus Obsession. That it kind of, to me, it looks like leather, but they're selling it as like dinosaur skin or raptor skin or something like that. But I think it looks kind of cool. And it gives it that leather-ish look. So I have my Kydex, I have the knife ready, taped up. I have my clamps all ready to go, and I have my press. The press is one that I built with just some wood that I had laying around with some hinges. I have the thermoforming foam. Just nice thick foam. People have used the floor mats, like garage floor mats that you can stand on. That works too. This has been well used. You can see all the indents. I have some new stuff coming, so I just purchased some new, so it's going to be a little better. But, you know, I can flip it over, use both sides, but I don't really like to do that too much because this side I had glue on it, and it kind of, you could tell the heat over the years, the glue has just vanished. So I have my press ready to go. So what I have to do is slowly heat the Kydex. So this is 0.06 thick Kydex, which I like to work with. And then I have my oven. So I have it set at about 350 degrees. What I have to do is throw this in there and let it get pliable. I wish there was a way for me to do this one-handed, but I cannot do this one-handed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you guys down, set up the camera, looking at the press for when I pull the Kydex out. Because once I pull it out of the heat, it's going to go really fast. I only have a limited amount of time while this is pliable to get it wrapped around the knife and in the press and then clamp down. So that kind of has to go fast because I don't want this to harden before I'm getting it on the knife. So what happens is you heat this stuff up and it becomes very pliable. It moves, it wiggles, it kind of flops in the wind. Then I take the knife, I'm going to throw it in here, fold it over, line it up the best I can, carefully close down the press, and then I'm going to clamp it all down really tight. And then it sits there and it cools. And then once it's all cooled, then it's formed to what the knife looks like. The most important area on the knife is right in here where the handle is and the heel of the blade. That's where all the retention is. All the retention is right in that area. And that is kind of the most important thing when working with Kydex. I've worked with leather, but I'm not a fan of working with leather. I'm not very good at it, but probably because I've only done it once. But anyway, I have all this stuff ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this piece of Kydex in there, let that slowly heat up, keep checking on it. It only takes about 5 minutes or so really in that oven. It heats up pretty quick. And then I'm going to come back to you, set up the camera, and we're going to be clamping this thing in. All right? Let's hope it goes well. All right, guys. I'm all set up, ready to go. The Kydex is getting there. You can see it's become very floppy. It's become very loose. So I'm going to let that go for just a couple more seconds while I get ready. Get ready with the knife. Get ready with my clamps. This is all going to happen very quickly. And I'm probably going to bang this camera at least 3 times. So you guys can count that yourselves. But we're almost there. I want to make sure that Kydex is nice and pliable. And so I can do this. So this is going to happen. Ready? We're almost there. We're almost there. Let me close that up. So literally that took about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And the Kydex is already ready to go. You don't want to overcook the Kydex. How do you know you overcook the Kydex? Because it starts to shrink really bad and it starts to wrinkle, and you don't want that. Then you ruin that piece of Kydex and you got to start over again. So I think we are good. Are you guys ready? Get the knife centered. Put it in here. I want to make sure that it's plenty enough into the press and the knife is plenty into where I need it to be. And we're gonna slowly clamp that down. I'm gonna get that as tight as possible. Get this one as tight as possible. Now we clamp this guy down. I don't know if you guys noticed, I'll show you here in a second. But don't zoom in on that. You can see I put a little piece of steel on the wood because the wood was starting to buckle. So I put this piece of steel. I'm clamping this as hard as I possibly can, going back, doing these. This one's giving you the most tension. These are just here for the support, blue ones, because these aren't really meant to do something that tight. You can see they kind of bow out here, but this one, that's the clamp that's really giving you the tension. These are just there to help support it and even out the pressure. So all right, I got that good. So now I wait. It takes at least 15 to 20 minutes for that to cool off in the press. So when we come back, we'll see what it looks like. All right, let's see the big reveal. It's been about 15, 20 minutes and it should be cooled off. So start opening this guy up, see what we have. All right, let's see what it looks like. I know it wasn't completely even. And there we go. So looks pretty even. It's as good as that's gonna get. Nice retention area in this. So yeah. You want to make sure you're giving yourself plenty of material. Unfortunately, it's waste. I'm gonna have to cut all that out and get rid of it, but it looks pretty good. So let me sit down. Oh my goodness. What's the next step on this? So the next step for this is I'm gonna mark out where I want the sheath to look like. So I'm gonna end up cutting it here, bringing it down, leaving space for the holes to be drilled for the eyelets to get put on. And then the most important area is right up in here. I don't want to remove too much material. I can cut some of this out up in here because I don't need that much here. I'd like to do my little finger bloop, my finger choil thing, my finger ramp, I guess you can call it, to where you can push off on it to open or take the knife out. But I'm gonna cut it, like probably just cut it down a little bit and bring it down here. I don't want to cut too much of this material off right in here because that's where the retention is. That's where the knife pops in, pops out, and that's what gives you your nice retention. The blade itself should be free in the middle of that sheath, with just enough little, that's why we tape it, just enough to where it's not going to scratch or do anything. So it's not going to ruin the actual steel and scratch the steel, but it's going to give it enough space in there where it's tight, but all the retention happens in this area. So the next step is I'm going to mark out where I want everything as best as possible. And then I'm going to drill the holes for the eyelets, and then we're going to cut this all out and shape it on the grinder. And then with the Dremel tool, I'm going to do all the fine detailing in this area to get that nice and perfect. Then we take a file, but I'll show it all to you. I don't think I'm going to go too fast with this, but once I get this done, it goes pretty fast. It doesn't take very long, so I probably won't time lapse anything. I'll just pop in and out, just showing you guys what I'm doing. So let's go finish this thing up. All right, guys, so I'm gonna start. I don't know if I'm gonna do this all in one shot and just move you guys around as I go, or keep taking breaks, but I'm gonna start here at the press. Then we're gonna go to the bandsaw and cut out the shape, rough shape of the sheath. Then I'm gonna go over to my grinder and then get that good and sand down to a shape. Then I'm gonna come over here, and with the Dremel, I'm gonna get this area nice and smooth. And then I'll take some sandpaper, hand sand all the edges off of it. I'm gonna press in, well actually, then I'll take a nice little file that I have, smooth all the insides out and all the rough edges. And then, I don't know, so it's a process, and then we'll get it all shaped out. So I don't know if I'm gonna bounce back and forth, if I should time lapse it. I don't know. If I time lapse, it's gonna go really quick because literally drilling 3 holes isn't gonna take very long. But I might time lapse everything just so you can see it. I don't want this video too long either. So, all right, well, let's get started. Before I get going, you can see the drill bit I'm using. I don't know what kind you would call that, but chisel bit, I don't know. But those are the drill bits that I was told work best for this, and they always work great. So that's my only tip on that. The grinder, I use 220 grit belts. I don't, because this stuff is soft, so it's really easy to overgrind it. So I just want to go nice and slow. Same with my Dremel tool, and I use an old bandsaw blade to cut the Kydex, even though that's like butter, it goes right through. So, all right, well, let's get started. All right, guys, so before I get too deep into doing everything, I need to clean behind the holes, because if I push this together, let me get it on camera, that would help. You can see how there's space And it's just because there's burrs and there's plastic all up in there. So I take the file, just a little file. Let me back up a little bit. Boop. That's better. So I take this little file, I get all the burrs off of where I drilled the holes and around all the edges. Get in here, try to get all that plastic out of there, or the Kydex out. You can still see we have some space. I can open it up, try to get all that out of there. So you can see it's already starting to close a little better. What I'm doing is I'm preparing to put the eyelets in. And obviously, once the eyelets are there, they're there. So I want to make sure this is flush and nice and tight so that I get a nice tight fit, because that's what we've been working on this whole time, right? A nice tight fit for that knife. It's got to be safe. It's got to be really comfortable in there. So, all right. So let's come over here. And I'll just set you guys up right there. I'll pull this. So this is my press. I have my eyelet press, so I need to get some eyelets. Let's see. I need 3. So I have 3 eyelets. And basically it's just my little press that I have. And I'm going to use this to put all of the eyelets in. So I like to carry my knives right side draw on front of me. So that's kind of where I end up put the eyelets, so that the, I guess, show side of the sheath is facing out. So I I drilled all those holes, 1/4 inch holes for the 1/4 inch eyelets. I'm sliding them all in. And I just have my press here. Line everything up. Oh my goodness, I lost you. This is gonna be the greatest video ever. All right, there, maybe that'll be better. All right, there we go. So the eyelets are in. Looking good on the sheath. So what I'm going to do is I have to continually clean up this area, because obviously that is not going to be good enough for the knife to slide in. The knife has to slide in through here. So I'm going to take my Dremel, remove a little bit more material, and then I'm going to go back with that file and get that nice and cleaned up. And then I'm going to sand it and then buff the edges. So I don't know how much of that I'm going to show you guys. Maybe I'll bring you back over here and let's see. I have a good view. Yeah, you guys have a good view. Back this camera up a little bit. All right. So what I'm gonna do is just pull that area right in here back a little bit more. Not too much. So that is starting to get there. And at this point, I'll come in with the file, clean up the inside edge. You can see some of that Kydex is coming out. And then I'm going to get into this area where the knife, the blade kind of fits in. Be better if I turn this around, huh? You guys won't be able to see it as well. Yeah, I guess you can. And I'm just going to go in and try to grind that out. So there's actual teeth on this edge of the file. So that allows me to really get in there in really fine places. So I just want that nice tight fit, and I've been dinged before. Some of the feedback on my sheaths is there's been a rattle, and I don't want a rattle. I try not to get the rattle, but sometimes you never know until you start test fitting it, and I've never been able to heat it back up to fix it. So it's not coming out, that's for sure. Anybody who owns one of my knives, it will not go out the door if I feel like that sheath isn't secure and tight. I can guarantee that. I don't want, the worst nightmare would be for the knife to fall out in the sheath when you're carrying it. That's not safe and not ideal. So I'm gonna keep working on this until it looks good. When it's ready, I'll come back to you guys, all right? All right, sorry for the dirty shop, but you know, it just is what it is. All right, so where am I? So we got this looking pretty good. I got the edges cleaned up pretty good. It's nice and tight. A little bit of space in there. Oh, that's not good. I'm gonna have to fix that. But everything overall so far is looking good. I'm gonna do a test fit on the knife just to see how it fits. But first, I want to try to get some of that. I've been working on the Kydex, sanding it, doing all that thing. This is a makeup tool for something. I don't even know. My wife gave it to me, and I was like, you know, that would be perfect to clean out the inside of the Kydex sheaths. And so I'm going to do that. And let's see where we are. I still have the tape on it, so I have to take that into consideration. But this is the part that I really want to pay attention to. That went in pretty good. It's not rattling. It's not falling out. It's tight. It compressed in here and around the heel of the blade still. I'm happy with that so far. So let me fix whatever's going on over here, and then I'll come back to you and see what else we can do. I got to put the thumb ramp on here too, which means I got to put it back in the press, heat this area up, and then slowly push that up for my thumb. So we'll see how that looks, but let me fix a couple things. All right, so I got it cleaned up, polished it up a little bit. Now I got the blade in. So I took the tape off. Has a nice tight fit. Not coming out, but I want to do the thumb ramp. And I came up with a new technique to do this. Normally I would just hold everything, heat this up nice and gently, and peel it back. To To get it started, I use this little metal thing, and I keep the knife in there because I don't want any, once you start heating things up again, then it has a tendency to loosen. So I keep the knife in there and I try to keep everything nice and tight. And I just take this and I start to peel it and I just use my thumb and I push it and form it. I have my heat gun here. I slowly heat this up. Oh wow, that's in the frame, isn't it? All right, well, sorry about that, but this is awkward positioning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clamp the knife into my press. I have the press set up vertically. Oh, this is turning into a real cluster, huh, guys? But you're getting the idea. I'm gonna clamp this in, just the regular clamp. Maybe I'll turn it around. That might be better. And because all I want to heat up is that ramp area of the blade. Nothing else, just the ramp area. So I want to get that nice and tight. Let me grab my other one and I'm going to put it in the front here. Ugh. And I'm going to put this here to keep everything nice and tight. I don't want anything to loosen up on me. Can I? Nope. Too close. I can't get this camera up any higher. All right. I hope you guys can see that. There, that might work. So I'm looking right here. So I'm going to heat this area up and then I'm just going to slowly try to peel it back. So I'm going to use my heat gun, hit it on there just for a few seconds. Use my little tool. I could tell it's already softening. It doesn't take much. There we go. You can see we're already there. The magic is happening right now. And it's that quick, guys. It's that quick. That quick. I think I overdid it a little bit, actually. It's okay. Hit it with a little heat. You can mold it just a little bit. Put it back. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to wait just a couple seconds, let all that cool off. We'll pull it out, and then I'll show you guys what we have. All right. So here you have it. Pretty much the finished product. Nice and tight. It's not coming out. It fits in there well. I have the nice thumb ramp. So now when you get it, it'll pop off nice and easy. Grab the knife. If you need to put it in, pops right in. That is important, you know, for any of my sheaths. So if you have one of my knives, it's funny, I hand people my knives, and if they're not used to the Kydex sheath, they're timid on being able to pull it out. But all you gotta do is put your index finger up against this area, take your thumb, grab a hold of the knife, and that's it. That's all you gotta do. So it's very simple once you learn the process. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of final cleanup on the Kydex sheath, put the strap on, and I'm done. That was the process of the Kydex sheath for all of my knives. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I haven't watched this, and I have a feeling it's going to be a cluster, needless to say, and I apologize. With some of the camera angles and stuff, it's kind of awkward to show some of the things I'm doing, and it doesn't take very long to get it done. So I'm gonna have an interesting time editing this one. So anyway, guys, please subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. That choice is yours. Thanks for watching, guys.